What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Voices from the Mausoleum, and happy Friday. We are back with another episode of Found Footage Fridays with my co-host, Mike and Serial.
Hey everyone, happy Friday. Hope y'all are having a good Friday. Hope it's even better now that you're watching us.
Always, it is. I just know it is. Everyone smiled bigger now that they're watching Found Footage Fridays.
Exactly.
um, yeah, so we are really getting into our second month of this. How are we
I
feeling?
know. It's so funny because I've been like pushing out some of our videos, like I want
Mhm.
to get my friends to see it and stuff. And then as I'm doing it, I'm going through them. I'm like, did I do this many already? I've been doing this for this long already. It does not
Already.
feel like that.
Yeah, and I think we probably mentioned this in previous videos, but we do bulk record because these are weekly, so it's a little easier to do it that way. But I will say I felt like the timing went by so fast, but I think it's because we had that interview in between.
Yeah.
So we really only went like 2 weeks and 2 weeks, I think, without recording anything. So, but yeah, it's been amazing. I'm having such a good time.
I am too. Again, this has been so much fun, and I just cannot wait for more stuff to come that we're doing,
Yep.
specifically including this episode because I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, so this one is available on Found TV. This was one of your picks for this month.
Yes.
This movie has two names. If it's on Found TV, it's called Things Unknown, and you can also find it under the name Unknown Project, right?
Correct.
Okay, and it's got 2013 and 2015 as the release dates. We're guessing it's because it did the festival circuit. Just a short synopsis. Three popular web show hosts camp out in the California desert. You know we left found footage in the desert. On their way back, well, some of them, on their way back from Burning Man. After an encounter with a UFO, they experience awe and wonder followed by terror, all recorded by their RV's cameras running continuously. All right, unspoiled thoughts. What do you think of this one?
So I love this movie. I honestly I think I watched it last year for the first time.
Okay,
I think it was on Tubi when I first saw it, but then obviously
sure.
Found TV got it, so I watched it again. Honestly, a few times already because this is a fun popcorn film for me. I think it just runs so smoothly. Where like it's engaging, but it's also like
Yeah.
this is a rewatchable movie for me.
Yep.
And again, we've talked about it before. It's
Mhm.
hard for found footage to be that rewatchable because the
Yeah.
pacing can usually be very slow. And
Yep.
that's not something that like lends itself to rewatchability.
Yeah.
This one is not slow, it's entertaining, and I think it's because how you've said before in the past, like you love alien found footage, you love dinosaur found
Yep.
footage. I love screen life. Oh, you like
Okay. Yeah,
mockumentaries?
I did know that. Yeah.
I love screen life.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is, but
It's cool.
almost every single movie that comes in the screen life format,
Yeah.
via in-world camera style,
Yeah.
is my cup of tea. Like Host, Uninvited, Searching, Missing. Like I just
Do you
love.
consider like screen life and content creating found footage to be the same, or do you think there's like a division in between the two things?
I think they can be very similar, and I think a lot of content creation does lend itself to screen life because whether
Sure.
you're doing YouTube,
Right.
that to me is still screen life. But I feel
Okay.
like now we might start to see a division because I feel like if you're gonna do like a TikTok horror movie, that's its own separate thing that I think would
I
be
see what
very
you're
cool to
saying.
see.
Yeah.
Um,
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I never
but
considered content create. I never considered I used to kinda lump them all together because I never thought about the subgenre of screen life until we got our little list about our future project that's not out yet, and, I was like, "They're different?" Like, but you're right, they have different nuanced things about them, but I was just curious kinda where you're. Because see, I would just consider this content creator horror. I wouldn't even have thought originally to but you're right, you're right in the way that, it's screen life.
Yeah, because and I guess this one does lend itself to both of what I'm about to say because there's another movie that
Mhm.
I saw. Because what I would say with content creation, where it's
Mhm.
different than screen life specifically,
Yeah.
is we're starting to see a lot of more live stream movies of content creators just live streaming everything, and I
Mhm.
that is a little bit different than Screen Life.
Yeah.
A movie that
No, it
we
makes
talked,
sense.
a movie that you guys have had on this show before,
Yep.
that to me is influencer content creator, but not Screen Life. Deadstream. I think that's uh, a good. It's it's not my favorite movie, but it's a good example
Yeah.
of what is content creation, found footage horror, and not still Screen Life horror.
Yeah, it almost feels kind of like content creating is a different type of intentional recording than screen life, whereas it's more just like it catches what it catches, right?
Yeah,
Because in this movie, they're not always just like walking. I mean, a lot of the footage is just the stationary cameras put all over the
yeah,
RV and stuff. Um, yeah, this I loved this. So I know you mentioned before we hit record, you weren't sure where I was gonna fall in this.
yeah.
Um, and I will tell you, anything alien and dinosaurs, that is in anything, I will watch it, and I will go ahead and tell you, they're always gonna get higher ratings from me because I just love those so much. And I went into this completely blind, so I actually didn't know it was aliens. I didn't know what I was watching.
Oh, okay, that's
I
awesome.
had no idea. So that first moment, I think I texted you. I was like, "What?" I was like, "Oh my god, it's aliens." I was like, but no, I loved this. This was so fun. The characters are so many feelings about the characters, but all things I'm meant to feel, never not I don't mean that in a negative way. But there's some things that they say that kind of rubs me the wrong way as a woman because they're like talking about things. But for
Yeah,
the most part, like they are so engaging. And I genuinely am like invested in whatever it is they're trying to give me. Like, so there's some really cool techniques used in this. There's just I had a lot of fun watching this. And I agree with what you said before about, this being rewatchable. Yeah, I would totally rewatch this. I had a lot of fun with it.
it's a fun time, and I know
Yeah,
a lot of people will say, "Well, what does that mean?" It means that I am engaged, I am
engaged.
entertained,
I'm
and
laughing, I'm
yeah,
focused.
every
Yeah,
emotion that they want me to feel, I feel.
yeah.
This is not the scariest movie. I will tell you
No,
all that right away. It's not a
no.
scary movie, but it has a little bit of tension. They do what they do really well in this movie is, like you said, the characters are very dynamic, very engaging,
Yeah,
and the storytelling is really well done. It like the
yeah,
way they just weave in and out of, we meet these people, they're content creators, they have a YouTube channel, they're going to Burning Man, they are being those obnoxious reporter people at Burning Man,
yes,
they follow a homeless guy, like there's all these different things that are happening,
yeah,
and then you get to the deeper story. As you go, the story just gets deeper and deeper, and for a silly-ish type movie, I kind
mhm,
of really like how serious the story can get and still be
yeah.
that like slapstick, I guess.
Yeah, because it did have, like, really kind of loosey goosey kind of moments, and then and I know I'm sure we'll give specifics and spoilers, of course, but it was one of those things where their relationships with each other shifted when things got real.
Mhm.
And it felt very natural, it felt very realistic, and that is not always found in found footage. Like, there are times where you're just like, "This makes their reactions to this make no sense," but they were very good. This was an A plus cast. I don't think out of the 3 of them, there was, any weakness in any of their performances. They were funny, they were charismatic, they were annoying like they're supposed to be, almost like you're all in
Yeah,
the RV with them. Um, but then when it like you said, when it kinda takes that turn, you find yourself going, "No way." Like, and it's I don't know, I was just and I will say, I do think that the alien stuff is relatively simplistic, but it works so well for the story because you never see too much. You don't ever feel like you're desensitized to what's going on. You're just kinda waiting for the next piece of it, right? And I thought
mhm.
that was super, super, super well done. Yeah.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
Where do you rate this? What do you rate this?
So I'm giving this 8 videotapes. I think it's just really well done. And I think for me too is
Mhm.
what makes me happier when I watch something is when I found something that I didn't hear other people talking about
I've
as
never
much.
heard of this movie,
I've
Mark. Never.
rarely ever seen anyone bring this up.
No, I've never
I
heard of
only
it.
had one friend, and funny enough, it's the same person that I'm friends with on social media
Mhm.
that put me on to Godforsaken. So, like,
Oh,
I trust
what?
her
They're 2 for
so
2.
much. She gives
Yeah.
me the best recommendations of stuff, like,
Yes.
because as you know, we've seen a lot. It's hard to find those hidden gems. Like, if
It
people tell
is.
me a movie I haven't seen, there's probably a reason why I haven't seen it. So to
It's
find
true.
someone who's just like knocking it out of the park with these hidden gems for me,
Crazy.
and I'm like, this is an 8 out of 10 for me. Because again, I didn't hear about this movie, knew nothing about this movie the
Never.
first time I saw it,
Never heard of
and
it.
it was so engaging. And I was like, why is no one talking about this? This is a great
Well,
movie.
and I don't remember if I don't know if maybe we've just chatted in general about it, but some of the stuff like there's not a lot of alien found footage. There just isn't. There's the McPherson tapes from the 80s. But
Movie.
there's only been, I think, of all the ones that we've watched that were aliens, specifically just aliens, the only one that I think I've ever just been obsessed with is the Gracefield incident, which Tom and I covered forever ago now. Um, but it's so difficult. Oh, and Holes in the Sky. Can't forget Holes in the Sky. So those two were just really, really great in very different ways. But I think that like aliens, again, I feel the same way about cryptids, are perfect for found footage.
Yes.
Perfect for found footage. And so to see something like this, it was overwhelmingly exciting for me. I did give it slightly lower, just because I just wanted more chaos than I think we got. Just a little bit more would have really bumped it up for me. But I would give this a 7.5 out of 10 tapes. I'm really close to your rating. I genuinely I just had such a great time, and I loved it's so like you said, I it's so hard to find stuff that we haven't seen that's worth watching. And so this was a fantastic surprise, and it was really I had such a good time with it. Um and yeah, so well, I'll put up our little thing once I figure out where it is. Boom. So we can talk about spoilers. Yeah, first what I don't know, where do you want to start with the spoilers?
So the funny thing is, I was like, I think once you find out that, and it's not like a definite find out because I think there's a lot of when you do read about this movie, it's kind of upfront in some places that you see that it's about aliens, and I feel
Mhm.
like that's the only major spoiler.
That's probably true.
Um,
So this
but
is more like specific plot points that maybe people just want to see for themselves.
but I think the spoiler for me, because I knew going in that it was going to be about aliens.
Okay, see, I
Um,
had no idea.
I wish I didn't because
It
now
was
that
cool to watch it that way. I'm trying to do that more and more, but it's hard
uh,
sometimes. But
so with the I cannot remember her name for the life of me right now, but so there's 3 characters. There's one guy who looks like Dave Grohl. There's a woman, and then there's another guy who's not Dave Grohl. That's for some reason I love this movie, but I
her
can't
name
remember.
is Anne.
Yes. So Anne,
Hmm.
the only thing that really kind of caught me off guard that I guess
Yeah.
would be spoilerish is because the reason why they are even where they're at, because so they go to Burning Man first, everybody.
Yep.
And then after that, she has the idea to show them this spot that she used to go to when she was a little girl.
Yeah.
And then when we find out, like, this has happened before to her. And I think she like isn't remembering it.
She didn't. Yeah.
So that I get that's a good spoiler. That's what caught me off guard in this movie because I was like at she's talking about this place and I'm in the back of my head I was like if this is about aliens obviously it's going to come here. I was like but she's been here before and then to find that out I'm like wait, hold on cuz
Yeah, that
now
was
I
a
got
good story.
questions.
Yeah, that was a good plot point because I think too with that one, is I feel like they give you enough, but they leave it in a way that I didn't feel unsatisfied by that, but they were very careful about the story elements that we got in that regard because yeah, I it took me a little longer to make the connection when she was talking about it and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, wait." But I love stuff like that. Anything that has to do with, like, kids seeing stuff when they're kids, and then, like that, is it a Stephen King or Spielberg movie? I can't remember called, They, about those little, like, creatures that come out the mirrors and, like, take pe anyway, I love stuff like that. It's very cool to me. Just this idea that, like, you weren't ever gonna be able to not have it happen is it like, this whole, like, idea of coming back there, and I don't know, that was really cool. I think the ones for me that I really loved were the choice of effects that they used. So I always love when they take the use of the equipment just that step further. It's one of the reasons that I really like ghost hunting ones because they
Okay.
like all this equipment. It's just fun. Um, but there's that part where she's sitting on the front of the RV and she hears something and it startles her and they kind of freak out for a second, and then he goes through and he changes the settings on the camera, and there's this big ass alien on the other side and it hits the, I guess, the glass or whatever's on the other side of her. I was like, the way that that showed up on the camera was so cool. Such a cool idea for that scene because we already know at that point that it's aliens, so we're assuming that that's what's happened.
Yeah.
But to see it in such a vague way, I just thought was really, really smart filmmaking, and I love that scene.
I did. I enjoyed so much of what they did. I think where it gets a little bit smaller marks for me, and where I thought where I was like, I don't know if this is going to be Angel's cup of tea,
Mhm.
was some of the effects because I was like, it goes a little
Oh.
cheesy and a little not found footagey for a
And see,
little
I
bit.
didn't even pick up on the non that's right, you did say that. You were like, "Well, it kinda breaks found footage rules," and I was like, "What rules?" I was like, "I don't recognize it." So,
So that was for me where I was like, it does play a little loose on the found
mhm.
footage, and is a little on the cornier side of effects, but it
Yeah.
wasn't enough for me to be like, oh, this was
No.
they ruined it. Like, no, it
No. Not at all.
because they didn't go like you said, they didn't go too far on any side of anything, which I appreciated. This was a
Yeah.
very like less is more in the
And it
right
and
way.
and that's why we say that because this is, like, how it can be if
Yeah.
you do less is more, and there were some scenes where there weren't any effects, like or at least not major ones. I mean, the flashes of light, I guess, is technically an effect, but it's so simple,
Mhm.
and then you have the person kind of far off in the distance. That's like that was, just standing there. Like, that
And
was
that's where
yeah.
it felt eerie to me. Like, cause like I
I was
said,
like, "What the hell is going
this
on?"
movie, like I said, and I'm just want to forewarn everybody, like if you're looking to be scared, this
This
might
may
not
not
be the
be it.
movie for you. However, those are little subtle, they're not scary, but they're slightly unnerving
Where you're kinda
scenes
like, "Ooh."
because it's just uncomfortable because what this movie does so well is it draws you in.
Yeah.
So when you're
Yeah.
seeing it with them, like there's someone over there, maybe they're not supposed to be there. Who is this
Mhm.
person? Like you're starting to wonder too. And that starts to sink in. And that's where I'm
Yeah.
like, I love that from
Yeah.
this movie. I
Yeah. And
do wish that it
yeah.
could have been a little bit scarier
Yeah.
because, again, I think we are missing a good, scary
I'm
alien
dying
found
for
footage
one.
film.
I'm dying. Gracefield Incident was not overwhelmingly scary, but it did have some pretty creepy parts. And I like Angel believes in aliens, so aliens do typically it's easier to scare me with aliens just because I believe in them. So I'm like, yeah, no, that's terrifying. But this I think that this worked. So the thing is, right, with kind of piggybacking off what you said about being kind of more like cheesy, it's sci-fi. Like,
Yeah.
I think for me, at least personally, I grew up on, like, really bad sci-fi, and I think that, like, for me, I'm able to give kinda passes. If it's in that way over if it's, like, strictly a horror film, it better not be cheesy.
Yeah.
But if it's like aliens and sci-fi stuff, I'm like, it's all right. But I think a lot of it, and we've both said this, kind of just goes back to the delivery from the people who are giving the performances because I loved their initial fascination with the lights. They were like,
Mhm.
"Oh my God, that's so," because I'm going to be honest with you, as scared as I am for real, I would be fascinated by that. Even if I was scared, I would not be able to not be in awe of something like that happening right in front of my face.
Yeah.
I'd be getting the hell out of there like right after that. We'd be out. But I think, just seeing something like that would be so cool. And
Yeah.
so I don't know. They were so genuine. I just really loved them a lot.
Yeah, there's nothing else I could really say because,
Yeah.
a character-driven movie this is.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure. For sure. Yeah.
because like you said, they're not the most likable all the time, and they're not
No.
supposed to be,
No. They're
but you
very
still are
human.
so drawn to
Mhm.
their dynamic together because they play it from the first, scene of the jokes that they make with her, and yeah, it gets a little misogynistic, some
Yeah.
of the jokes that they do, but again, that's YouTubers. I'm sorry. That is content creation,
Yeah.
especially when it's a one woman with broy type bros.
2
Like,
bros. Yeah,
you're gonna have
for
that
sure.
dynamic. So I'm glad
For
that
sure.
it felt super authentic. Like,
It
honestly,
did.
what's really funny is I feel like I had to look up, like, are these the real YouTubers? Like, is this their
They
channel and they
had that
decided to make
part,
a
like,
movie?
down.
Because I'm
Yeah.
like, this is a YouTube channel. The group, the dynamic, like, because sometimes we do see, especially when there's multiple people a part of a channel, personalities can become personalities.
Yes, that's
That's
true.
a thing. And that's what was
Yeah.
happening here,
Well said.
was there was those slow buildups, and like you said, the
Mhm.
more things started to get out of place, the more we started to see their dynamics change and how
Mhm.
they react to each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how annoyed they get with little things, and now they're not trusting certain things because they're like, "What do
Yeah.
you mean? Like, this makes no sense." And I just loved how much the character development was just going up and down for each one of them.
Yeah, and even too towards, the closer we got to the end, even turning to a point of protectiveness, of wanting to care for one another or we're being worried about one another in a way that you might not have thought they would have been in the beginning when when you first meet them and they're kind of messing around with each other. And yeah, they were great. It's hard because we've talked about this in previous episodes already, but it's hard because when you go into found footage, you're going into, most of the time it's an indie film, it's a B film. So they
Mhm.
not a ton of budget to pay experienced actors and actresses. I know people that only use their friends, like, because that's what they have access to. And so a lot of times I think as people who love the subgenre, we have to look past that sometimes
Yeah,
and we have to say, okay, well, there's some give here because that's just normal. But this isn't an example of where you had to give. Like, it was very easy to just kind of like fall in line with them.
and that's why, like,
And I loved it.
I
Yeah.
have to tell people all the time, like, there's horror fans, there's found footage fans, there's found footage horror fans. If
Yeah.
you are not both, then you need to not watch found footage because
Oh,
at
that.
the end of the day, it is as indie films get. Like you said, they have a lot of them will have a shoestring budget. Like you said, it is just their best friend and their cousins just with a
Trying
hand
to
cam.
running around in their backyard. Yeah.
And you have to be able to, if the acting isn't up there, then where's the story at? Like,
There has to be, yeah.
and if the story's not always the strongest, sometimes the acting is, like, and that
Yeah.
will carry me.
It can
So
go, yeah, either way.
you just have to be able to watch something that's imperfect.
Yeah. No, I totally
Like,
agree.
you just have to. And this is a perfect example of a strong effort. And I won't even say this is like oh, you have to look past this
No.
and this, because I love the story. I
It
love the
works.
acting. I think everything worked so well.
Yeah. And
Like,
again, it's really fun. Like it was just one of those things where you can really just chill and watch this movie. Like you're not sitting there like annoyed, you're not bored. I feel like it was very engaging and it was entertaining like you said. And I'm telling you, lately, man, found footage stuff has been, as you'll hear later this month, has been a doozy. And so when we find ones like this that are fun, that are entertaining, that make us remember, like, okay, this is why I love this subgenre. They're always super fun to talk about. And we've been very lucky. So far, we've mostly covered good ones. And
we've had some really
we
good
have.
ones. Like, and again, surprising. Like, I'm gonna toot the horn of Dark Amazon. That was a surprising one for me.
Agree.
I
Totally agree.
enjoyed that one. And again, I'm glad that I was able to introduce this one to you because, like I said, I
I
don't
love this
hear
one.
enough about this and it hurts. Like this one, it hurts that this is a movie
No one's
that is
talking about it.
not talked
I
about enough.
follow so many found footage junkies. I've never heard of this movie.
Yeah, like I think you and I are very ingrained into the found footage community.
Mhm. And I'm
So
like, what is this movie called? And then it was laughing because all the all the movies I used to make Tom watch would have the word project in them. So like Dinosaur Project, Monster Project, like anything. I'm like, so I guess anything with the word project in it is just a hit because every time I watch something, so I was laughing in my head when you said that it was called Unknown Project because I was like, of course it is, like because project is just
you
embedded in the found footage subgenre.
if
It's like,
project is in the title
yeah.
or one of the titles, you're starting off strong.
I know, it's weird.
The
I'm trying to
Blair
think if
Witch
there's
Project.
the Blair Witch oh, maybe that's why. I didn't think about that. What the hell? That's probably what it is. But
Could
yeah,
be.
like I don't it's just funny because you said that and I was like, projects? Like my little found footage ears like perked up. I was like, okay, but no,
Although
this really was fun. I really did like this one a lot. And I'm glad now to have it to be able to talk about with other people or to like my friend Tasha watches found footage too and I could be like, "Oh, hey, have you seen this?" And um it'll be cool to be able to talk about it and bring it up because more people need to see it. And it's on our favorite place, Found TV. So you
yes.
can watch it for free.
I was extremely excited to see that they picked that one up when they
That's
did
awesome.
because I'm like, again, I saw this I think last year or the year before, and then when I saw that they had it, I was like, "Oh, cool," because the good thing about the people who have Found TV is they're watching everything on Found TV. And
Yeah.
while
Was this a new one? Like, I
I
mean,
don't
not a
think it
new
was
one, but a new release for Found TV?
no, I don't
No,
believe it
it was already
was.
on there.
I think it was something that
Okay.
was just on. I think it might have even been part of their original 31 days.
Okay.
But I know they've had it for a bit. I don't think it had any like exclusiveness.
I was mostly wondering because, we get the emails and stuff um with the filmmakers that are open to being contacted, and I mean, I think it'd be cool to talk to these ones.
Oh, I would love to talk to these
So we
people.
may need to reach out to Monica and Louie and see if that's something they can share with us. Um, because yeah, I just want to know what it was like to make this one because it was so fun.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look up more of their stuff, see if they're doing anything because I think this, like I said, this was
It's
such a strong effort. I
it's
think it
10
was
years old.
greatly
12 years old.
executed. Yeah.
12 years old.
I think they did a great job,
Yeah.
and I hope that they did more, and I want to watch it.
I'm going on like a month of this. I'm over it. So close. Anyway. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. When I watch something like this, I'm immediately like, well, what else have they done? What else can because yeah, this was really fun. So if you have not seen Things Unknown or Unknown Project, you can watch it on Found TV for free, or you can support Found TV and get an annual subscription and get $5 off using the code word VOICES, VOICES. It gets you like $5, I think, off the annual, or it's like a 10% discount. So it ends up being like $5. But you're supporting a great cause because Monica and Louis really care about found footage. They really care about viewers, and they really, really treasure their filmmakers. And it's just an incredible thing for people like Mike and I to see. So you can always
Exactly.
do that if you want. Oh, and as always, Mike's link will be in the description, so where you can find him as well. All right, cool. Well, I think that's going to wrap up this episode of Found Footage Fridays. We hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend, and Mike and I will see you next week.
Bye.